Welcome to the International Society for Performance Improvement. This interview is dedicated to all of the International Society for Performance Improvement members, past, present, and future, who have given of their time and talents to make the world a better place. Up next, Rose Noxon, ISPI board member and volunteer liaison. Good morning, listeners. My name is Valerie Bernard, and I'm a volunteer for the International Society for Performance Improvement, and we have a special treat for you today. Joining us today for the program is Rose Noxon, who is a representative also of the International Society for Performance Improvement. Dr. Noxon sits on the board of directors, and she is also a board liaison to the volunteer committee, so you're going to get an opportunity to hear from Rose and all the amazing work that she's doing. But please allow me a minute here to go over Rose's bio with you. I think you're going to be just as impressed as what I am. Rose has more than 30 years experience in training evaluation, and business process improvement. She holds certifications as a certified performance technologist, as a project management professional, and in service delivery management. She also holds a certificate from ATD's ROI certification program. She has a PhD in education with a specialization in training and performance improvement from Capella University, and holds a Master's of Education Studies from Capella. Rose's career has included training evaluation of troop readiness at the 7th Army Training Command in Germany, founding CACI's award-winning corporate university, and designing numerous training and human capital government processes. Rose currently serves as CACI's Principal Training and Education Solution Architect. In addition to these amazing accomplishments, Rose was also the founder and first president of the award-winning International Society for Performance Improvement virtual chapter for Capella University. She remains on the chapter's board as a mentor. She also served as the ISPI Chapter Partnership Committee Chair for 2 years and earned the prestigious ISPI Presidential Award for her service in 2013. Rose is now on the ISPI Board of Directors, and once again, as I mentioned, she is also the board liaison to ISPI's Volunteer Committee, and the founder and liaison to the newly created Community Service Program and its associated committees as well. So please join me in welcoming Rose Noxon. Are you on the line, Rose?
I am. Thank you so much for that really fine introduction, Valerie. I'm here in sunny but very cold Virginia today.
Oh, sunny and cold Virginia. Did you get the snow that we've had this week?
Just some ice, but it's all gone now.
Well, it might be cold and icy there, but I know with you and your warm heart and your generous giving that you've given, I'm sure it's nice and sunny. And that's one of the things that I've admired about you since I became a member 2 years ago, is that your willingness to give and to give to others to help them with their professional development, and then your willingness to give thousands of hours to the ISPI board and also to the volunteer committee. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that today. But what I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, could we start by having you share a little bit about your current role, and perhaps that's intertwined with some of the roles that you've had in the past as well?
Well, I have been a member of ISPI just about 10 years now, and started out, as you mentioned, as the founder of CACI's Capella's virtual university chapter for Capella. After I graduated and got my doctorate, I really missed being part of a community of folks, and so I asked Capella if they had any projects that could possibly use my talents, and they said, you know, we're associated with ISPI. We use all of their textbooks. Several of their thought leaders are on our faculty, and we would like very much to try to have a chapter, but we're not sure how to do that because we're a virtual university. So that was really kind of a quote-unquote postgraduate moment for me, and I spent quite a bit of time surveying all of the stakeholders and putting together that virtual chapter, which has been around now since 2009. And I think we've taken Chapter of Excellence Award at least 7 of those years. So I'm quite proud of that and of the work that they continue to do there. from that, I had done some work for the Chapter Partnership Committee at ISPI and became the Chapter Partnership Committee Chair for 2012 and 2013. And I really got a good look at the what was going on in the other chapters across the globe, and what did a healthy chapter look like, and tried really hard to help all the chapter leaders collaborate in ways to be able to share best practices. I also served on a couple of committees for different conferences, and then was asked to join the board, and have been the liaison to the volunteer committee since that time. That volunteer committee is headed up by Deb Colbert. She's the volunteer committee chair, and is you'll see her at the conference. She'll have a table there, and she also is going to do a roundtable this year at the conference on volunteering. So in addition to that, I'm also the liaison to the community service program, which is a new service offering that we have for our members that's just now recently launched. You may recall that we did a community service program as a pilot for the music school in Philadelphia, and that was featured at our conference last year. That pilot taught us quite a bit. It taught us that we needed a little bit of governance, we needed some project management around our projects, we needed some scoping. So we learned a lot from that particular project, and we put together a committee to help us govern the community projects that we hope to see coming through ISPI in the coming years. At the upcoming conference, we'll also be telling you some more about our second pilot, which is with the Kidney Foundation in Montreal. And we chose Montreal because that's where we're having our conference this year. And they're just having a really interesting time in helping the Kidney Foundation. They're using appreciative methods to help them evaluate their fundraising abilities and closing some of the performance gaps that they have at the Kidney Foundation. One really important aspect of that is that what we really learned from Philadelphia was that when we were finished doing a community service program with our volunteers from ISPI, and the project is finished, it didn't feel right just walking away at that point. Here's your finished project. So one of the movements that things that the board passed over the last year about the community service program was that as we decide to do a project for a particular organization, we would make them complementary ISPI corporate members, which means that they'll have 5 members of their staff become ISPI members. And then they would then participate with the community service project that they're working on for their organization. That way, when the project is completed, we have not just given the organization a fish, but we've taught them to fish, and now they are also part of ISPI.
Well, that's some exciting work, and I think that a testament to your leadership is the fact that the pro bono project at the Settlement Music School, it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that your team of volunteers, ISPI's team of volunteers, were asked to come back a second year to continue working on that first pilot project as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, I believe so. The ISPI members that lived in the Philadelphia region wanted to be more involved in that pilot program, and so have been sitting alongside the music school since we left the conference last year.
Yes, and I was so inspired by, we had the young lady that played the violin last year at the conference in Philadelphia, the ISPI conference, and her name was Dallas, and I got a chance to speak with her behind the curtain, and she attributes her success to the leadership of that school, and she also understood that the value that ISPI was bringing even at her young age, and I think it's just amazing work that you've, first of all, that you've come up with all of these innovative ideas, and it's just a testament to the amazing person that you are, and that you're taking your talents and your skills and your education and background to give this in service for others. So I think I have three themes here that I would describe you as an amazing person with amazing talents and an amazing heart for serving others. And I think that the idea that that these pilot programs would turn into 5 individuals from this nonprofit becoming a part of ISPI corporate membership package, and opportunity that they would come and continue to learn the methodologies that will help them be more successful is truly what ISPI is about. And we think about our hashtag being better matters, and this is a classic example of what that means. So thank you for your work in this area.
We know, Valerie, that the community service program is our intervention and in answer to the gaps that our members told us about back in San Antonio. You may recall we had focus groups in San Antonio. We combined that with a survey that we had of the membership. We talked to our thought leaders and our change agents inside ISPI, and we listened. We really listened to what was it that was being asked for from us as a society. What would make you stay engaged with ISPI? And a lot of what we heard was put into our community service program. Members really wanted a way to work together on meaningful, real work. There was a big emphasis on acting mega and not just being an organization that was internally focused. You know, we congratulate ourselves quite a bit on our accomplishments, but how about applying that to our society as at large and acting in a mega way, and using our many talents to be able to affect the communities that we live in. At the same time, being able to work together with people that we may not have a chance to work together with on a daily basis, so that we can learn from them, so that we can mentor each other, so that we can have engagements together that can lead to something bigger and better than ourselves, and bigger and better than even our professional association. And that's why the community service program was formulated in the way that it stands today.
Well, that's some amazing, exciting work, and it's not just impacting our local communities. You said mega, and that sticks out to me as, you know, this is international, and our consultants are international, and our ISPI members also come from international for this. And I'm thinking now about 2015 at San Antonio was my first opportunity too, and I became a member at that conference for these very reasons, and I saw that this was a group of professionals that were bringing their talents and skills that want to make a difference at that level. And I met you through the Capella chapter, and you welcomed me to a dinner with open arms with the Capella group, and I won't forget that. And then also Deb Colbert, you mentioned her as a volunteer for the committee chair for that, and she just does amazing work too. And I think that one of the things that sets ISPI apart, and I've alluded to this before in other conversations with our members, is that we are this a smaller society, an intimate group it's almost, I could say we're small but very mighty, I guess, and that's why I think that if someone is looking to attend a conference for professional development in this arena, and then also to get involved to be a world changer, that ISPI is the perfect fit. Would you agree?
I would. You know, it takes, we may be a smaller society, but it takes over 100 volunteers for us to continue to deliver the services that we offer our members. The board members are volunteers. We're not paid. You're a volunteer. All of our committees are run by volunteers. But most of our committees are led by thought leaders and are guided by a board member who is usually a thought leader in our society. So the opportunity for people to volunteer and to contribute back to the society is really a win for themselves as well. you have an opportunity to exercise what you've learned if you're a student. You have an opportunity to mentor others if you're more advanced. I have hired several volunteers that I've had a chance to observe how they have acted as a volunteer and valued that. And then when the time was right, I had found a way to bring them into my company. So there's lots of reasons, professional and societal, that you may want to consider volunteering at ISPI. And you would do that through our website. Our main website has a page both for the volunteer. There's a form that you fill out and tell us about yourself, and then we kind of help you fit into the right committee. Or if you have a committee in mind that you want to serve in, you can tell us that as well. It's a pretty easy to click on and find that form there on the volunteer page. There's also a page, by the way, for the community service program. It gives a lot of details about the program and how that works. And there's a way for you to you can volunteer just to be on a community service program. So if there's a project that's looking for team members, we would then look to the roles of who's raised their hand and said that they would like to be on a community service project, and then reach out to them and see whether or not they wanted to serve on a particular project as it was being formed. So all that information is out there on our web pages on how to volunteer and what the details are about the community service program. So at ISPI.org, there's actually a pull-down menu for volunteers and for the community service program there.
That's great. So the listeners can go to www.ispi.org then to get more information on this topic.
Correct.
And then also we launched last year, and after Philadelphia, we launched our philanthropy fundraising project around this as well. And we've got www.donate4change.com, and from that website, I had the opportunity to actually talk with the Settlement Music School and do an interview with them and with Carol Panza last year. And we've written a little story on the Donate for Change website. So we are also utilizing that brand, Donate for Change, to do fundraising to raise money to help ISPI with operational support funding. So to be able to go do this, it takes a staff. It takes a staff at our corporate office, and as a nonprofit ourselves, we're engaged in fundraising to support these systems as well. So that's another opportunity to check out the story about the Settlement Music School. So we've got also something else special about you going on. I also understand that you are going to be one of our presenters at the upcoming conference in Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, we're really focusing on the folks that are training developers in our society, and working to try to attract more training developers to our society. Training is one of the many interventions that we use in human performance improvement, and my presentation at Montreal this year will be how the performance improvement model and the ADDIE model that the training developers use complement each other. And that presentation, I'll be aided by Darlene Van Tiem.
Well, that sounds great. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. She's going to co-present with me.
Yeah, so we've got Darlene Van Tiem, and then we've got you, and your presentation, I understand, is how to incorporate the HPT model along with the ADDIE model. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, calling all trainers right now, because Rose, before I got involved with ISPI 2 years ago, and I have been in training and development for 20 years, and I just believed with my whole heart that training was the answer to our business issues, and in the training that I did, that's what I believe solved the problem. And I learned about 7 years ago that was not the case. And as a trainer, background in training, I was looking for how to advise my clients, and I found ISPI through that, and for trainers especially, to gain this type of knowledge and to be seen as a a consultant in the organization, as maybe trainers they're downsizing in that arena, to be the person that's the go-to resource for becoming a consultant. So I just believe I'm calling, it's a personal thing, I'm calling all trainers to your presentation, and anybody that's been going to different conferences in the training arena. This is a presentation I'm sure you will not want to miss, and then to learn the methodologies that ISPI teaches to help you develop as a professional inside your own organization and be seen as a consultant, and perhaps not just as the person that's delivering training. Would you think this is accurate?
Certainly. I mean, training isn't always the answer to closing a performance gap, but it's often an answer to, or part of an answer to, closing a performance gap. And we just want to be able to help those who are in a society that are training developers, or those that are either thinking about joining or who are just new to the organization, who have professions that are more focused on training, understand how performance improvement and the tools of surrounding performance improvement can increase their success with the training interventions that they are developing.
I see. Okay. So this is a great opportunity then. And then also, what about instructional designers?
It's appropriate for them as well.
Yes. Yeah, so we have several already who have registered both as trainers and instructional designers, and we want to make sure that they know that you and Dr. Van Teen will have this presentation going on. Is there anything else right now that you'd like our listeners to know?
No, well, I hardly. We do have some, still need a couple of volunteers at the conference. And if you volunteer at the conference to give us 8 hours worth of your time, you get a very greatly reduced price on your conference registration. So if you're thinking about coming to the conference and for some reason the cost of it, you didn't make the early bird or deadline, perhaps this is a way for you to come to the conference. Give us some of your time as a volunteer, and it may be that you are working a registration desk, or it may be that you're helping presenters with their needs, or evaluation forms at the end of there's various different things that you might do as a volunteer. But we still are looking for a handful of volunteers for the Montreal conference coming up in just a few short weeks. Now it's like only 6 weeks away. So please go on to the volunteer site and let us know if you're interested in doing that.
That sounds great. Now, Rose, do you have to be a member to be a volunteer, or can you come as a non-member and be a volunteer?
For the conference, I think we're going to allow non-members, but for all other volunteer positions at ISPI Global, we do require that you are at least an ISPI Silver member.
Okay, great information. Well, thank you so much today for the gift of your time. I know how busy you are with the work that you do at CACI, and definitely I know how busy you are at the work that you do as a volunteer for ISPI. So thank you again for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you in Montreal.
I look forward to seeing you too. Thanks everyone.
As a volunteer with the International Society for Performance Improvement, you bring with you skills, talents, abilities, and a compassion for serving others. In return, you ask for appreciation, satisfaction, and lifelong friendships. You also generously give of your time without any expectations. Lasting friendships are what sets ISPI apart. If this sounds like you, please check out our volunteer opportunities at www.ispi.org. We also invite you to attend the upcoming conference in Montreal, Canada, April 30th through May the 2nd, 2017. And remember, to the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world.